Hello, and in today's video we are doing an FPL preview for game week number 9. That's right, the 2021-22 season keeps coming thick and fast, and these round of games will be very interesting indeed. It is my birthday weekend, so I'm getting this video out nice and early, but locking in your teams for game week 9, what transfers are you making? I am making my transfers, going to enjoy the weekend, and just hope that these FPL players can give me a great birthday present. But let's talk about my team for game week number 9. Now, going into this game week, we had a good green arrow last week, up by 78k. You know, good consistency we're showing. We're keeping the rhythm going, and we're doing well. So I'm loving it. At the current rank I am of 454k, it's solid. It's not amazing. It's not groundbreaking, but it's starting to build to what we want to get to. To really push for that top 100k would be fantastic, and to really get beyond that would be amazing. So we will keep going, and we will hopefully get some progress. But as you can see there, the game week 9 deadline is early this week, so do not get caught out by it. There are a few injuries going around, so it'll be interesting. But the first game kicks off with Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Friday night football under the lights. Do tune in for that feast of football. And of course, we've got some big games on the Saturday and on the Sunday. But as you can see here, people, we're on the transfer page. So before I do my team selection, let me talk through some tinkering, some thoughts going into game week 9. Now, obviously a lot has happened. We have an injury to Romelu Lukaku, which is exactly what I'm thinking about right now. And I'm thinking, do I transfer him out? That is the question, because is he going to be out longer than 1 week? We just don't really know that information. We know he's going to miss this game. And look, at the end of the day, it's funny because at the end of the day, like, a lot of people have lost patience on him anyway. So they were like, okay, at least he should do well against Norwich. He probably would have blanked anyway because he was just such bad form. But no, the point is, it's a real shame. You have Lukaku for these run of fixtures, and what does he do? He blanks and then doesn't play against the best fixture possible at home to Norwich. It is a nightmare. But the reality is, he's not going to be fit, I reckon, for game week 9. So, do we bench him? I mean, that is a lot of money. I think it's like 11.8 million to have on your bench, when he could, for all we know, be longer than game week 9 out injured. Also, it is coming at a time where the fixtures are starting to make some interesting viewing, and the form is certainly starting to build momentum. So you've got Jamie Vardy, who's on unbelievable form, and you know, ever since 14-15 season, this guy has just been a goal machine. So he is under the radar. We've got obviously Harry Kane. He's back in the flow of goals against Newcastle, but it was Newcastle and he's only scored 1. Look, how long will he keep going? He did look against Aston Villa quite good in the previous week, but is he worth it? Because actually, if I think about it, and I want to get Lukaku back or Ronaldo later on in the season, and when I think about that, actually, I probably will, because that run of fixtures for Manchester United from about game week 13 onwards is unbelievable. And this is game week 9, so you have to think about it. It's not the too distant future. So I'm not going to get a Man United player this week, obviously, because their fixture is quite a tough one against Liverpool. But we've got to think about it soon. Start getting these transfers planned in for the Man United triple up. Although saying that, even with good fixtures, Man United are in a bit of a mess at the minute. So they did get the win in the Champions League against Villarreal. Ronaldo scored again. But the point is, they're not looking like a great team right now. But you've got to think, Lukaku to Ronaldo or Kane to Ronaldo is a nice, easy switch. Whereas with Vardy, although he's so good and he's actually cheap, so it saves me money, it's like, how will I keep that money in the bank to then move up to someone like a Lukaku? Look, the problem with Lukaku is he's got such good fixtures, but if he's out for a long time, then forget those fixtures, because he'll have not had enough time to actually make the use of them. So it's a really difficult conundrum, but it has seen there, Vardy has been added to my squad. I don't know if I will go with that, to be honest, because I'm liking the look of Kane, especially with some of the fixtures. Look, you'd say on paper not easy, but West Ham, Everton and Man United have all been quite leaky defensively. And then you kind of think, okay, who else are we going to get? We could go for a really cheap forward like Hwang from Wolves, but I just think he's not nailed. You could go for someone like Adam Armstrong still got good fixtures for Southampton, but he didn't play in the last game, which is a worry, and he could be a trap. I'm just not sure. I think my other two forwards, Antonio and Tony, look, Antonio is not on the best of form recently, but, he's still Antonio. Like, let's not doubt his, scoring potential. And Tony is one that I'm definitely keeping because he's such a good asset for these turn of Brentford fixtures now. So the front three is looking pretty settled, but the Lukaku issue is a big one in my team. But let's talk through the rest of the team first, and then we'll kind of discuss if we make the transfers, when we make them this week, what they could be. Who's basically on the hit list and who is on the green light list. So, Benny Boy Foster and Ramsdale. Now, Foster's actually been getting a lot of attention recently, not for FPL, but instead for, unfortunately, selling a Watford season ticket. Sorry, not a season ticket, a match day ticket for that one Liverpool-Watford game to a Liverpool fan, like a UFC fighter or something. It's a bit dodgy, basically, and he's not getting a lot of love for that. But his Cycling GK YouTube channel is still getting loads of love, and he's also gone and captained Mo Salah against himself. Look, he's got to do what he's got to do, but for an FPL perspective, I still think he's good value. Now, you're going to say, why would you think that? With the fixtures they've got coming up, it is ridiculous. I know, it is. But just think about this, really. 4 million, right? Backman, okay, he could come in at some point, but the fixtures, right? They're nice, game week 16 to 19, but crucially, he's a 4 million playing goalkeeper. When I say playing, he's got at least a decent chance. If not, then we've got another playing goalie. And then the fixtures are tough, but in these fixtures, you'd think that will be the chance for Foster to get the save points. Now, obviously, you don't want those occasions like the Liverpool game where you concede 5 and get minus points for the goalkeeper. But that's not going to happen every week. I think that was just Liverpool amazing. Watford were awful on the day. Ranieri will get them, sorted out defensively. It's what he's come in to do, shore up that defence and get them playing a bit more disciplined. So, I know the fixtures aren't kind for him, but Foster could get some better performances in, I think, over the next few weeks when Watford do kind of finally get their mojo back. And look, he's a playing goalie. He's cheap as chips. Ramsdale, 4.5 million. Not a lot to say about him. I'm sticking with him because I transferred him in. He did the bits against Brighton. All right, unlucky against Palace, but he's still so good for going forward. Arsenal defensively have been a much better team in the last few weeks. So, yeah, he makes those save points. He's not going anywhere. So, look, I could easily say, you should get out Ramsdale because the fixtures aren't amazing. But actually, they are better than you think. Look, Leicester away, okay, not ideal. But Villa and Watford, I think those are games where he could get clean sheets. Villa, obviously Watkins and maybe Danny Ings. But, Arsenal have been quite good in terms of defence. Obviously, against Palace, they weren't. But I think Palace are just a really good team at the minute. And look, after that Liverpool game, you got Newcastle, who they're not scoring loads of goals. And by then, obviously, they'll still not have had their chance to make transfers for the forward line. And look, Wilson is one injury away from that Newcastle team, not scoring goals again. So, I don't know. I just think he's worth keeping. I made the switch, and I'm going to stick with my guns, really. See what I did there? Pun not intended, the Gunners. Now, in defence, let's talk about it. As Azpilicueta, I'm happy with you, mate. You're not going anywhere. Rudiger, the same. And I'm actually really relieved because he was due to not play this game because he missed out Brentford. And then we thought, is it going to be a long-term one, that back injury? But luckily, he's back for this beautiful Norwich City fixture at home. So I'm loving that. Defensive double-up when I need it for Chelsea in a really good fixture. Trent, he never goes anywhere, mate. He's essential. Cancelo, pretty good as well. Very good attacking potential. And Man City's fixtures, I'm still trying to get the most out of. And Livramento, again, he's not going anywhere. That defence is pretty solid because Livramento is just such a good budget option. And you could argue the week I brought him in against Newcastle was a bit of a bad transfer because I knew that the fixtures were tough. But it was a long-term strategy. I wanted him for, the team going forward and just not for that -4 week. But look, at the end of the day, he's got clean sheets against the teams we wouldn't expect. So if he had have played a few more minutes for me, it would have been brilliant. But at least he's getting points in total and he's a good asset for the future. But I do think I want to play him more regularly got the clean sheet for me really well against Leeds last week, off the auto sub once again, but he has to start for me this week because, look, Burnley, they're just not scoring goals. So, these are all good. We've got no one on the shopping list at the minute. But, now we look at the midfield, and this is where we've got some issues. Other than Rafinha and Salah, mainly because of fixtures and unbelievable form from the Egyptian king, I have my doubts about Benrahma, Douglas Luiz and Saka. Benrahma because, look, at the end of the day, he's not really performing. His decline has been pretty much ever since I brought him in. I mean, he did blank before that in Gameweek 3, but I brought him in for that Leeds game right after he scores with Man United, and what has he done since then? 3 blanks. So, it's a shame. Obviously, playing tonight in the Europa League, but I'm not sure if he's actually starting. The point is, I still think he's got the fitness to play anyway. It's just the fixtures, they could be better for West Ham, and his form could be better. So, I'm not sure if I switch with Benrahma or stay patient. He could be one of those ones, if you're patient with him, he'll deliver, but I don't know. He's not really doing what I want him to. Douglas Luiz, is he really the best option for 4.5? And if I make the transfer that I've proposed at the minute, then I can upgrade to a stronger midfielder. Look, it's a shame we benched him last week because he got more clean sheet points than some of the other midfielders. But at the end of the day, he's a good 4.5 option. He's got a few assists this season, so it's not the end of the world. It's just I might want to have a better midfield in general. And then Saka, look, that's just so unlucky. Like, the fixtures are unbelievable for this guy. That's why we brought him in. Look, great fixture against Palace. On his day, he could have scored that game. But he gets shanked from behind by MacArthur. He gets subbed off. He gets a booking. Like, it's just the most unlucky transfer you'll ever see. And although he did score less than Ismail Assar, who was there before him, at the end of the day, he's good for long term as long as he can come back from that injury. So, look, the calf injury is not ideal, but we don't think it's going to be long term, hopefully. It's just, it would be really annoying to transfer him out back again after bringing him in. So, I'll probably not sell Saka, but if he gets confirmed out for longer, then of course that would force my hand. And then the front three, as I mentioned before, pretty settled. Now this of course is currently Lukaku, but Vardy just makes sense, doesn't it? Antonio, he looks good, but he's on the kind of same decline in form as Benrahma, and Tony's not going anywhere. So really, the players I've got up for sale are right now, with Saka looking 75% chance of playing, it's going to be Benrahma, Antonio, and Lukaku to leave. Which I didn't think I would say, to be honest, but it's not looking great for West Ham. Obviously, they did win last week, but attackingly, they're not, blowing teams away, and I need more impact. So, therefore, what are we going to be doing, people? I think, realistically, Bukayo Saka has to stay in for one more week. Look, we've only just got him in. Hopefully, he's fit past to play. Then Douglas Luiz, don't overthink a 4.5. Like, he's going to sit on my bench most weeks anyway. Rafinha will play, we think. Benrahma, he's an issue. So we genuinely consider selling him. Antonio the same, and Lukaku the same. So, look, it's a difficult one, right? We don't want to take an 8-point hit. We also would like to not take a single hit. Where you can, you don't want to take hits. But Lukaku's made me have to question it now, and where I usually would have kept Lukaku for that Norwich fixture and then replaced one of Antonio or Benrahma and made that simple kind of one transfer made, no hits move, that's not the case now because, look, Lukaku is a serious issue. I just don't know how long he'll be out for, but people are selling him this week. Is that too naive? Is that too silly if he comes back for game week number 10 against Newcastle? That's a good fixture. But the fixtures maybe are irrelevant for Lukaku because the form has been awful. Like, since I've had him, I got him back in game week 3. I say back in, I hadn't actually owned him. But the point is, I owned him from game week 3 onwards. Oh, sorry, game week 7 onwards. And look, at the end of the day, he's got 2-2-pointers against good fixtures. I know it's a small sample size, but if he's out for Norwich and Newcastle, Burnley and Leicester, they're not the worst fixtures, but he's just not got any confidence right now. And the problem for Chelsea is they've got Werner out injured as well. So does that mean Havertz plays up front? Does that mean that they get used to a different style of play and Lukaku's not going to be in there for a while? It's risky, man. Like, I don't know if it's the green light on selling him this week or we just do it later on. But like, as I mentioned before, 11.7 million on the bench is just, it feels wrong. It feels really criminal. So I think we're going to sell Lukaku. I think we might also sell one of Antonio or Benrahma, or we just keep them. But one thing I did think about is that Antonio always scores versus Tottenham. Now, you can say, don't look at past records, don't look at past goals and matches in between these matches. But I think Antonio is still a good FPL asset. Unfortunately, he's not shown it recently, but look, he can get returns. And, okay, the fixtures aren't great, but I think you just got to be persistent. He's probably the best forward there is right now, with Calvert-Lewin out, with Bamford out. It's hard to not have him. So Tony and Antonio, I'm happy with, but Benrahma, I'm just simply not happy with. He's just not done the bits for me. And I kind of thought, if I have Benrahma and Antonio, then they can link up for some returns, and that will be really good for my team. But actually, now I'm thinking about it, Benrahma's just not very good, is he? So, look, we might have to take a 4-point hit, lads, which I don't like to say. 18.4, though, to use. So let's see what the auto pick gives us. Yeah, that's what I expected. So I'm not really that keen on bringing in Townsend. I know that people say he's a good asset and he's been returning quite a lot. But look at those fixtures. Tottenham and Man City in the next 4. And Everton, are they really a team we should be convinced by? I know that they did not play well against West Ham. And I know you'll say Watford's a good fixture. But is Townsend a trap? I just don't know if his form that he had in that little purple patch is really sustainable. I know you'll say, oh, well, he scored week in, week out. But I'm just not sure he's an attracting option. So, and it would be mean to go against my own Watford team. I know that we're a good fixture technically. But would I not rather prefer Demarai Gray? That's what I'm thinking. But if I'm getting Demarai Gray and I'm getting Townsend, then if I'm saying Townsend's not worth it and Gray is, then I'm kind of contradicting myself. So I've got to make the choice. Is Everton worth it for 2 game weeks, really, for those good fixtures? So looking at the fixtures then, to help me decide this transfer move, let's see who plays who in game week number 9. Oh yeah, just quickly, let's have a little look on Arteta and what he said about Saka's fitness, because this could be really, really important. Here we go. What is he saying? He's not trained yet, so we have to assess him today and see how he is. Right, so he said he's not trained, and that's a day before the game. So that does tell me that he could be a late call, and that is unlikely that he'll get minutes. So that does worry me. But do you get what I mean when I say I've just brought him in, so I don't want to bring him out? I know that sounds a bit silly, but I did do it with Bamford, and he got injured. But I just think he's not 100% ruled out, so why waste it when you know you can get Lukaku out and replace Benrahma? I think Benrahma, we maybe should be patient, but I guess if I'm taking a 4-point hit, I could always just sell Lukaku and sell Saka. That's the thing. But it's just like, I love those Arsenal fixtures, so it would be a shame to not have them. I don't want to see Saka like just not be in my team like for a long period. This was a long-term transfer, so look, I'm going to leave him there, and hopefully he plays. That's just what I've got to think about. Moving on to Lukaku, though. Let's see what Tuchel is taking on this, because realistically, will he miss game week 9? You'd think so. So, I'm not sure. He says no regrets in the lineup, but you've got to have regrets. Like, to start Lukaku and Werner against Malmo is just a joke. Right, let's see what's happening. Lukaku's was not related to the tiredness. It was purely a result of the challenge. Twisted his ankle. Okay, so Timo said a hamstring injury, so it will take a while for both of them. They'll be out for some matches, right? So that's pretty conclusive. Lukaku's gone. Like, I'm not waiting for some matches for an 11.7 million forward. So it's basically between Kane and Vardy, isn't it? Let's be honest. Kane is a good option, but it does mean that I can only spend 6.3 for Benrahma. So, like, the thing is, I couldn't do Kane in for one move. If you just quickly look at this, it doesn't allow it for 0.3. So it's whether I prefer Kane or Vardy, basically. Now, Kane does always score against West Ham, but Vardy is cheaper and he's probably in better form, even if Kane might have better fixtures game week 12 onwards. So, it's a tough one, man. I really don't know about... He did get 2 returns, though, in game week 8, so that is tempting. I'm going to go with Kane. I know it's a bit bold, but I think he might be the better option. And I kind of have done my game week preview as I've gone along, so I'm going to leave it at that. But we're making the transfers now. Do I get Damari Gray against Watford? I don't like to back against my own team. Sorry, people. But instead, what we'll do is we won't get the Everton boys. Instead, we're going to go with Conor Gallagher. Because, look, the fixtures are quite good. And he's great. He's a great option. I know he didn't turn against Arsenal, but that wasn't an easy fixture. So we're going to go for it. Conor Gallagher, he's coming in. 0.6 left for game week number 10. That's quite a nice buffer. Let's make those transfers then, shall we? Confirmed. The -4 is among us. Decent stuff. So we could captain Kane. I'm very, very tempted. I'm going to probably do it. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to do it. So let's bring in Gallagher because we think that he will do well in that fixture. I'm not sure about this. Should I start Saka? I think we should. But then who would we bench? That's the difficult bit. Oh, dearie me. I kind of regret doing the Benrahma transfer now because I don't know who to bench. Okay, and I need to start Rudiger as well. Let's just bench Saka because he probably won't play, and if he does, then I'll be surprised. Oh, but then it's... Oh, you probably should play him, shouldn't you? Yeah, let's be honest. You've got to play him. Let's bench Tony because Leicester's not easy. I know Tony's a good option for future fixtures, but I'm not sure if he's the best one for now. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Who do we bench, though? I'm going to have to bench Antonio. He's not been in form recently. Neither has Tony, really. So, I don't like that team because it's dropping a lot of good assets, but I think we just have to go for that. Tony, is quite reliable to come off with Leicester defence quite bad. So that is my team locked in for game week number 9. Thanks for watching my FPL preview. I hope I've covered most things, but I'm going with Kane. I know it's bold, but I think the better fixture. He loves scoring v West Ham, and those are my transfers. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.